is up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Right, so we're going to crack on with this chassis because it's nearly there, and the faster I can get it to him, the faster my buddy can start building it. Right, because as we know, these things take a long time to build. The chassis is probably the shortest time frame. It's the largest item, but the smallest thing to actually build. Smallest, shortest, you get what I'm saying anyway, don't you? So, this is just the beginning of Sam's car. Sam has got a lot of work ahead of him. Because as you know, I just sell the basic chassis. So, he's having the chassis, but there's a lot of work that needs to go into them. I just get it square, true to where the suspension should be because it's mini. So everything is square, true, welded right. It's used the right tube. Everything's at the right angles. That's what I do to make sure that you can bolt the front subframe on, you can put the arms on, and it rolls. Every one of my chassis, I normally get to the point of rolling. And you can literally push them with a finger. The suspension is that true after I've done it. Do you know what I mean? This one, I haven't got the arms for this subframe. The bottom arms, it uses funny arms. So, this one will not be rolling, but I know the subframe is in the same position as the one I normally use. Right, so what you've just seen me do is run around tidying up some welds. Now, not grinding the welds away, except for these radius arm mounts, my inner ones. You have to grind back the weld. So it's not like this. It's got to be smoothed off. So this is running flat with the chassis. Let me zoom out again. Yeah, you get me? So it has to run flat. And then all you'll do is, you see my corner. Zoom it. Oh, no. You just round the corner out. You're not grinding them back. You're just smoothing out any imperfections. Yeah, that's all we're doing. Just to make it nice and smooth to avoid any cracking. So now we put this back together. Everything's clean, tidy, all welded up. So what we need to do now is these, I use these to keep the arms within their running. This is where you want your arm to be technically in ride height. Yeah? So all the working out of dimensions, this is why. You really want your arm is just below parallel. That is just below parallel ride height. So once this thing's fully loaded and everything, that's about where you want your arm. So I made these for my first car. So I know this is correct now. So I'm done that, and now we can put in the last gussets on here. See how I've got the gussets there? I don't put the ones on the inner arm until all this is built up, the arm is in, tight, bolted up. Then we know this is where this angle is where it needs to be. Technically, it should be 90 degrees. Let's grab me a tiny square, see if we can fit it in there. Well, it's a bit tricky because it's got a... I didn't think of this, so it's got a rounded... Well, what we're going to... put that on there. So this is on there. Yeah. Square. As... That's hard up. Square. So technically this one is square, but because it's got the rounded edge in there, I can't get me bloody squarey. So they are square. So now I can just gusset here. And then we're also going to put a gusset here. And then the outside one will also have a little gusset there. Is it needed? No. Am I doing it? Yes. So yeah, then this back end then is done. You also saw me run around the whole car with the grinder, just trying to get some of the tough speckle off. You don't really want to grind your welds. That's one thing a lot of you'll see in the pits, or anybody who knows what they're doing really, they'll run around, they'll just glance over your weld. If you've got a weld that's all ground down smooth, there's normally a reason, you know, and normally it's going to be a shit weld. So you want to try and leave your welds so you can see them, yeah? If you start grinding away, you're going to start weakening your weld. So I just like to see a nice weld, you know what I mean? Even if it's not bloody Instagram approved quality, as long as you can see the actual weld and you can see that you can tell by looking at a weld if it's any good. You know what I mean? So like, I've got someone here somewhere. Where the fuck you know is he? Where I fucking know. So all these, no, pretty good these ones are. I'm trying to find a shit one. Well, I wouldn't say a shit one. I would say one that is maybe had a stop and a start in it. Oh, see, that one's got a stop and a start, but once you've cleaned that weld off, like the dirt, so there, see, there, like that one, look. See how it's coming in and it stopped and carried on? I'd rather see that. I mean, it's not actually a bad weld, it looks all right, but I'd rather see that than somebody who ground it off, because you can determine on what the weld is like. It's quite hard to pick a shit weld, you know. Anyway, you catch my drift. If there's more shit ones, I'd be able to show you, but there isn't. Anyway, so what I want to do is I'm going to cut some triangles. All this is just 3mm triangle, and I suppose it is to aid deflection of this. But the way this arm is and how close the arm is here, to bend that, this arm's got to come over, which means it's pulled this over, which means this has hit something freaking hard. So, anyway, I'm just going to cut some triangles because I'm rabbiting on now. Cut some triangles, weld them in. I'll probably weld the top and then try and get underneath. If not, I'm going to strip the arm down, do that again. And then we need to do a roof bar, which means getting the bender out. I've got the bar already. It's over there. I'm doing it in a 45mm. And we need these intrusion bars. The issue is with this seat. That seat doesn't fit. It fits, but it's far too big. So I can either put these in, but I don't know if I want to put a small one in or do I put a big one in. See, this is where it gets tricky. Do I leave them out, supply him the bar and say put that in? I don't know. And then we need to knock up some gussets. Gussets are pretty simple. I just keep this triangle piece. It's a bit of a template. And then, so you just cut out 4 of them. Bish, bash, bosh. Right, I've got to get some work done. I just thought I'd show you. So I have this bits and bobs. And then I have my waste tube. This is my bucket of waste tube from about 3 chassis. So you got to be pretty good with your stuff. So this I have made. My friend bends me this. It's 3mm by 3mm, 50mm by 50mm, 50mm by 100mm. And when I'm cutting this off, I have an offcut, which is that, yeah? And then the other one over there, I have a bigger offcut, which is that. And I keep all of these for this reason. These offcuts, see? So everything is not waste. So you've got gussets, long ones, short ones. If you want to just chop that down to 45, you know, you've got to think. A lot of people just scrap this. No, you got to keep a stock of stuff. All right. So I think what I'm going to do with this one here. So you got this. I'm going to round that bottom corner so it fits in the radius. Yeah. And then we'll get to about here because this comes across and down. I'm going to put a bend in it and we'll keep a bit more length down to about here. So I'll round that corner first, drop it in, stick a bend in it, and then we'll go, and it'll work. Agree? I agree. So get the grinder, put my glasses on, I don't blind myself, get my little step. So we've radiused the corner to fit in nice and true, and then I'm going to put a mark about where I want to bend it, because this won't be right at the top. We're going to set it down about that far, just so we've got a nice weld in there. So I think I want to bend it about there. So I'm going to put a nice little bend there, the same as this, which I think was 45 degrees. Right, I'll bend this. Jeez, I forgot how tough this 3mm is to bend. This is a really good grade 3mm that my friend's company gets in for me. It's mild steel, but it's a good grade. And I do pay a little bit more for it, but fuck, I just had to use a piece of wood and a big ass mallet to bend that much in the vise. Shit, mate. So now we're in. Let me get you off this and show you from the side view. So now this sits about there. Yeah? And that's just going to give a nice bit more strength. And I'll cut it off just before my fingers. So on two of these, bent opposites. Remember that, because I don't know where I've done that before. A lot. Right then, so I'm going to bend another one of these. And we're going to cut them off just before my fingers. Yeah, so I'm going to put it about there. Cuts off about there to round up. Yeah? And then we'll get these welded in. Booyah. Right, got a couple of these doofers. I'm going to call these doofers. Everybody knows what one of them is. And they fit just there. So we're going to do just that. We're going to tack it in first. Make sure we tacked in the point so nothing's going to move around. And then we'll get some weld down there. Yeah, we'll do that then. So I've got these two. I might make the bottom two. Put them in at the same time. That is really easy. That is just literally a triangle. So we've got some more spares. Just, you know, we've got quite a few of these. So we just want one for about there. Yeah? You know, between the bolts, nothing too high, nothing too low. Yeah, I'm going to make these as well. So I'll make these. This is literally just a small triangle. So I might, instead of it triangulating, I might go up a little bit so we're not coming to a dead point. Sometimes when you weld to a dead point, you can wash the end away. So I might just go straight across. Yeah, I'll do it. done there is I've just let that run, so you can see just how much time it takes to get something done. I mean, that's just 2. So those welds came out quite nice, plenty of heat going into it. That one under there, I did the underside of the under one. I don't think I'm going to do the underside of the top one because it's got a bend in it. I think it's going to be perfectly fine. Just doing both sides of the bottom one because there's no bend in it. Yeah? Right. No, turned out quite nice. Nice having a little bend in it. I've got to leave a gap because... Oh no, you don't have to do it because, yeah, getting the Allen key in. If this was to be one piece, it'd be a bit... Then again, I could build it one piece all the way around 1 inch wide, or 35mm, and put a hole in it for the Allen key. Maybe a potential later on down the line, I don't know. Anyway, so that there then is the back complete. I put the 50mm bolts in, and I use 50mm, so if they wish, they can put a nut on the inside. Even though that's fully threaded, it ain't going anywhere. You could put a lock nut on there, just to give that extra little bit of, yeah, they're not going to come out. So that is the back end done. Next job is, ideally, it's the roof bar. Roof bar or gussets. What should we do? What shall we do? Let me have a think. Right, boys and girls. So, chassis this way. And I've lifted it up a bit, just because my back, you know, getting old. So what we're going to do, we're going to do some... That's a good button, that is. Really good button. Right, so we're going to do these gussets first. Now, these are these front ones. And all my chassis uses the same template, because they're all the same. So that goes there. All you have to do is you have to notch a little bit out for that tube, or the inside one, and that's it. So you have 4 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we do our spacings. I must have another one of these somewhere that I've used, because I'm sure I put the holes in here. But anyway, maybe I made a new one. So basically, we need to get the holes where we want them. These are what I use. These little swagers. This is the biggest one. Ideally, I need to get a 3/4. So this is 1 inch. It's 25mm, 16, 1/2 inch, and whatever that one was. I can't remember. So basically, we're just gonna sort of thing, yeah. Or, I mean, I could get a even bigger one, to be honest. But I think with the last one of these I did, I should put 3 of the big ones in. This one, I might do it a little bit different. Do I want to try and go small, medium? No, we're not going to fit 2 of them in. So I'll probably just put 4 in like that. So what I need to do is I need to work out my angle. And you'll put a line here, a line there, draw it, and then that will give you your center point for all your holes. Just so that I might do that now on the paper. Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to work out that we know that one's 1 inch, 25mm, 16. 13. So what was this one then? It's like 10mm. So it's like a 3/8 one, it's something like that. So I want to work out my central line. So we can get rid of them. There's a pen. Put this, the ruler down. So we just go straight from the centre of the top. And we want to go across to keep level with that. I think we do, don't we? About there. So it'll be like 55mm. got to get these right here. You know what I mean? So that will be the trajectory, should we say. Yeah, I could be happy with that, I think. 70 mil. 70 mil. 65. Well, we know that's 70. Because it's a smaller hole, it will look further away. Because that gap there is smaller than that gap there, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So we need to make it look aesthetic, whatever. So I'm going to go 55. And we'll close these ones up, I think. I think I've got that. That is 60, 55 and 50. It's closing up 5 mil at a time, but because of the difference in diameter, it will probably look closer if you, do you know what I mean? Because they're smaller. Do you know what? I think I'm going to go with that. So if I just draw... Well, that's not going to fit. That's not going to fit. Pencil ain't going to fit. Drop it. There we go. Push them out. This is like a centre punt, but it's got like a hole in it, so it cuts little holes. So then when we come to do replicate it on the steel, you put your centre punt in the hole. There we go. Another useless fact for you. Right, so now I'm going to cut these out using my saw set up in that way and my little, you know, this nibbler. So yeah, we'll get these cut out quickly. Nice and simple job. Right, so there, I decided to do a bit of a test. I did 2 with that and 2 with that to compare the speed and the quality of the part once I was finished. And I gotta say, these were done by the cutter and these were done by the saw. Now the saw gives you a flatter job, but it needs work. Like it needs to go on the belt sander and get sanded off because it's really rough. And you can't, to keep it straight is really tricky. Now these need nothing. And they are much straighter. There's a little bit of a bow. I think these better. I think it's just a lot easier using that. So anyway, that's the test I thought I'd run. So now all we need to do is make all 4 of them the same to within a degree, and that's where the belt sander comes in. because it's just so much easier just to throw them on there and do the bits and bobs. And then we're gonna drill some holes, do some dies, get them on. Right, so 4 of them, all the same size. I definitely think that's the better option, but it does leave a twist. Where the ones with off the saw, nothing. The ones off that, got a bit of a twist. So, swings and roundabouts, what are you going to do, eh? Right, well, I'm going to leave that one here because this is dragging out. And then we'll get on to how we dimple die and stuff in the next one. And how I align them to get them looking right on the chassis. And we'll do the roof by the next one. Right then, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. And I will catch you in the next one. See you later, people.